Right-wingers continue to insist that Joe Biden suffers from severe cognitive decline. He's too old to be president. He doesn't know what day it is or that he is even president of the United States. He doesn't know his kids' names. He doesn't know his wife's name. And they have been going over and over and over these talking points so many times over the last year.
The very first year he became president, it was obvious he was in rapid decline.
Brain-dead Biden brings us our video of the day. During a campaign speech in Las Vegas, he regaled everyone with a story about sitting down with Francois Mitterrand just a few years ago. But Mitterrand has been dead since 1996. To be fair, that might be the same year Joe lost consciousness.
And we have a man who's absolutely the worst president in the history of our country. Can't put two sentences together.
Now, what's going on here is that Republicans would prefer not to debate the substance of Joe Biden's extraordinary policy achievements, and they would prefer not to deal with the fact that their presumptive nominee is facing 88 criminal charges. So instead, they are running with Biden's demented, desperately hoping that it will be enough to distract Americans from what actually matters. Now, setting aside that Biden and Trump are essentially the same age, there are well-documented signs of Trump exhibiting symptoms of gross dementia, as Dr. John Gartner and Dr. Harry Siegel have explained on our show. But it's not just Dr. John Gartner and Dr. Harry Siegel. Dozens of former cabinet officials for Donald Trump have come forward to express concerns that Trump is unfit to serve as president of the United States for a second term. Start with Mark Milley, Donald Trump's former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, responding to Trump's suggestion that Milley should be put to death. Milley went after Trump as the wannabe dictator that he is.
We don't take an oath to a country. We don't take an oath to a tribe. We don't take an oath to a religion. We don't take an oath to a king or a queen or to a tyrant or a dictator. And we don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
Joe Biden's chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Charles Q. Brown, has not expressed any concerns about President Joe Biden. William Barr served as Donald Trump's attorney general. In 2023, he called Trump a consummate narcissist.
He is a consummate narcissist, and he constantly engages in reckless conduct that puts his political followers at risk and the conservative and Republican agenda at risk.
Would he put the country at risk if he was in the White House again?
He will always put his own interests and gratifying his own ego ahead of everything else, including the country's interests. There's no question about it. This is a perfect example of that. He's like a defiant 9-year-old kid who's always pushing the glass toward the edge of the table, defying his parents to stop him from doing it. It's a means of self-assertion and exerting his dominance over other people. And he's a very petty individual who will always put his interests ahead of the country's.
Barr has also referred to Donald Trump as despicable.
To me, it's amazing that you read through the indictment and his behavior in that indictment, and it's nauseating. It's despicable behavior. Whether it's criminal or not, someone who engaged in that kind of bullying about a process that is fundamental to our system and to our self-government shouldn't be anywhere near the Oval Office.
Despite these harsh words, Barr recently came forward to confirm he will vote for Trump in November, proving what we already knew. He is a doormat of a man.
So just to be clear, you're voting for someone who you believe tried to subvert the peaceful transfer of power, that can't even achieve his own policies, that lied about the election even after his attorney general told him that the election wasn't stolen. And as the former chief law enforcement in this country, you're going to vote for someone who is facing 88 criminal counts.
Well, look, the 88 criminal counts, a lot of those are, and I've said...
Even if 10 of them are accurate.
The answer to the question is yes. I'm supporting the Republican ticket.
But can you say that you're voting for Donald Trump? Because you're not saying his name. You just say you're supporting the Republican ticket.
I've said as between Biden and Trump, I will vote for Trump.
But this doesn't diminish the significance of his previous condemnations of the guy he worked for. On the other hand, Joe Biden's attorney general, Merrick Garland, has not called Biden a consummate narcissist, nor has he expressed any concerns about Biden as president. We then come to John Bolton, Donald Trump's national security advisor at one point. Bolton has characterized Trump as stunningly uninformed.
You wrote the president was not just uninformed, but stunningly uninformed. Can you give us some examples?
Well, there were things that we went over again and again and again that just didn't seem to sink in. Like, why was the Korean Peninsula partitioned in 1945 at the end of World War II? And what did that lead to? And how did we get to that point?
You say in the book that Trump asked General John Kelly if Finland was part of Russia.
He said those things, absolutely. And when you're dealing with somebody who asks questions like that, it's very hard to know how to proceed.
Joe Biden's national security advisor, Jake Sullivan, has never referred to Biden as stunningly uninformed and has not blown the whistle about any aspect of Joe Biden. We then come to Mike Pence, Trump's very own former vice president, who says that Trump asked him to put Trump over the American Constitution.
President Trump was wrong. He was wrong then, he's wrong now. I had no right to overturn the election. And more and more Americans are coming up to me every day and recognizing that. And for my part, I'm running for president in part because, frankly, President Trump asked me to put him over the Constitution that day, but I chose the Constitution, and I always will.
He has also now said that he will not endorse Donald Trump.
It should come as no surprise that I will not be endorsing Donald Trump this year.
Joe Biden's vice president, Kamala Harris, has never said that Biden asked her to put him over the Constitution. Now, let me be very clear. This is not an exhaustive list. There are dozens of other examples of former high-level Trump administration officials who have since come forward to say he is dangerous and he is unfit to serve. It is an extraordinarily long list, and it ranges from James Mattis and Mark Esper. We mentioned Mark Milley, Trump's first Secretary of State Rex Tillerson, Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, H.R. McMaster, John Kelly, Mick Mulvaney. I could go on and on and on. There is a report from the Brookings Institution that shows that Trump's rate of turnover was 92%, shattering historical records. So the first question is, how do the Trump supporters contend with this? Because even those who support Trump would have to admit that at the very least, he's a terrible judge of character, given that so many of his own former associates turned against him. But more importantly, we have to think about the flip side. If any of the allegations about Joe Biden were true, Biden's dementia, Biden's not really running anything. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know who Jill Biden is. He doesn't know anything. He can't do anything. If it were true that he was just a shell of a person doing nothing and knowing nothing, why has there not been a single person from Joe Biden's inner circle, or even like the next circle around that has blown the whistle confirming even a single one of these allegations? Trump has boasted he only hires top people and would fill his administration with the best, most serious people. If that's true, I guess we should listen to what Trump's former hires have said and heed their warning. Don't reelect Trump in 2024.